Welcome, good afternoon. Thank you for attending today's session. I'd like to thank the audience for joining our webinar today. SNP helps you find the optimal cloud migration approach based on your industry. I'm Miranda Burke, and I'm the Senior Programs Marketing Manager here at SNP and your host for today. Today's 30-minute webcast is being recorded, and all registrants will be sent the link to the recording and presentation at the end. Questions can be asked at any time via the chat function on your side of your screen, and I'll jump back in at the end to host Q&A. And as we all know, we have the flexibility to adjust the presentation screen, and you can find that expand button located in the middle of your screen directly below the speaker boxes. I'd like to introduce the experts and speakers for today's webcast. Introducing my esteemed colleague, Russell Salone. He's our solutions engineer based in Texas, and Russell has over 26 years of SAP experience and over 35 years of enterprise system implementation experience. And with that, Russell, I'm going to pass that on to you, and the show is yours.
All right, well, thank you, Miranda. Like Miranda said, my name is Russell Sloan. I'm with the SNP Sales and Solutioning team. I'd like to spend a little time with you today talking about how we can help you move to the cloud and the challenges we see across all industries, as well as industry-specific challenges. So without further ado, let me turn this off and we can get started. So we'll be covering a lot today, so I'll go kind of fast over some slides and a little slower on some of the others, so that we can get through all of our content. Also, as Miranda mentioned, you can enter questions along the way through the chat. We're going to talk about the challenges of moving to the cloud that we see across all industries, as well as industry-specific challenges. We'll talk about our experience in the industry, different industries for moving to cloud, and we'll talk a little bit about customer success stories, as well as how you can get access to a free system scan, as well as sign up for a one-on-one demo. Okay, so let me turn this back on real quick. All right, so as our customers move to the cloud, they face many challenges, right? Some are just the nature of moving to the cloud, some are unique to the industry, and some are unique to the customer. And our approach and software set allows us to tailor the migration experience to your specific needs. So if we look across industries, we see some commonalities, some common challenges, right? Security. Will my provider be secure? What's my cost to get there? What's the real cost, right? There's a lot of advertising about low-cost cloud, but when you dig into the details, a lot of it's driven by how much that system needs to be up. If you're trying to get to 5 nines, it gets pretty expensive. Sheer data volume. How do we get all of this stuff out to the cloud in a time frame that doesn't interrupt our business? We've got adoption resistance, and there's a really cool word out there in the psychological world called nephophobia, which is the fear of clouds. And we do have customers that have that as a real business challenge. The business doesn't want to go to the cloud. They're afraid of it, afraid of losing control, et cetera. So we see those as common challenges from the people side, the business side of the business. We have organizational change fatigue, and this is one of the areas we can help with a lot by consolidating many projects into one so that you go through one go live, one set of training, et cetera. Downtime constraints. We can't take our system offline very long, otherwise it wouldn't have been of that much value to us in the beginning, right? If our system wasn't valuable to us, we could take it down all we want. We've got skill shortages. Do we have the right skills in-house to support the business after we move to the cloud, or do we need to rely on our third party, either our hyperscalers or SIs, to support us as we move forward? Also, there's concerns of vendor lock-in. Are we going to tie ourselves to one cloud provider, or do we want multiple cloud providers, one for our transaction systems, another for analytics, another for something else? Those are all decisions we have to make as we look to go into the cloud. And then last, but certainly not least, is integration. If we're moving our core SAP system to the cloud, will everything still be able to talk to it? Right? Are we going to bump into anything? Or are we going to move some of those legacy systems with it at the same time? These are all challenges we see across all industries. Every customer faces them as they look to move to the cloud. So at this time, I would like Miranda to launch our poll so we can find out from you, some of your key challenges. So our poll asks about your key challenges. So we've put a few up there for you to use for your reference. Also, we've got an other button. If you've got other challenges that you have concerns with, click that button and go ahead and enter your challenge into the chat. And then that'll give us information to help follow up with you to address your specific challenges. So Miranda, are we getting some response on the poll?
Yes, I see lots of
Very
response
good.
in.
I do like a participating audience.
And, you know, and if you fall into the other category, feel free to type your answer into the little chat box so we can address that. Let's give it another couple seconds and then we'll launch the results.
Okay. I hear the machinery tabulating.
All right. I'm going to close this now and launch the results.
Okay.
Russell,
So
if you
it
can't.
seems that integration is a common hot point. That's good to know. Okay. All right. So I'll take these results into consideration as we move through and talk about some of those points that our audience has the top concerns around. All right. So let's talk a little bit more about challenges of going to the cloud. Let's talk about the ones that are unique by industry. So each industry, of course, has its own requirements, right, that are pretty unique to the industry. So for example, in life sciences, we've got HIPAA compliance and medical device support. You know, medical device support has different uptime requirements than other SAP transaction processing systems. So that's always a key factor. Virtual health through, you know, teledoc and things like that. And then patient predictive health, where we start bringing in AI and things of that nature, machine learning to understand the data coming into the life sciences department and how we can better serve the customers from that space. Retail, of course, we got shopper analytics, we got speed of response. You know, the great example is when you're walking down the street, you're half a block from a Starbucks store and you get a coupon in your text message, things like that. Manufacturing has many challenges, right? One of the biggest ones is worker empowerment. How do we get the people in the field the data they need to better drive the business and respond more quickly and prevent risks and troubles? Banking has multi-layered security, and that security can change nation to nation as we operate internationally with banks. Loan management, customer profiles, all of these things are unique challenges for the financial and banking industry. Aerospace and defense, and you know, any U.S.-based company that's working with the U.S. government or any company working with the U.S. government worldwide has up to a 50-year data retention requirement to meet government regulations and contract timelines. Got to integrate with government systems. That's always a challenging circumstance. And then we've got end-to-end secrecy. This goes beyond just security, right? It's about keeping that data encrypted. So even if you do have access to it, you can't pull it out or give it away, things like that. Construction, we've got municipal contracts, which are usually long running, which gives us long data retention. And then food and beverage, you've got the Food and Drug Administration monitoring and your end-to-end farm to fork initiatives that are coming along. So it increases our transport end-to-end tracking, et cetera. So these are just some of the challenges we see across different industries. Of course, the list could go on and on and on, but these were just some of the big ones that we've come across as we move customers to the cloud in different industries. So I'd like to talk a little bit about our experience in moving our customers to the cloud by industry. Over the last several years, we've moved, I believe it's on the next slide, it doesn't matter. We've moved a large number of companies to the cloud in different industries worldwide. So we understand what it means to move by industry and whether or not you've got a global footprint and what those implications are. So we've moved over 98 companies. We say over because we do have some in progress right now. We've moved 224 projects worldwide, and we have 11 signed customer references. So if you want to ask questions, we can certainly get on the phone with these reference customers and allow you to talk customer to customer so that we can address all of your concerns for the move. Excuse me. So I went through that a little bit fast because I wanted to get into the benefits and how we help you get to the cloud. Do we have any questions so far, Miranda?
There are no questions so far.
Okay, very good. So our key benefits of our software and our methodologies, what we call the SNP approach collectively, is we give you time savings. We've been able to save our customers up to 75% in their project duration. We've reduced go live downtimes, and we've also combined projects so the customer only goes through one go live to accomplish many things, whereas without our approach, you might have to upgrade and then do a next step and then do a next step before you can actually finally go live, which may put your business through multiple go lives, multiple trainings. So we reduce business fatigue by combining into one project. We have 25 years of development behind our products, so we have a great deal of automation in our process. These are things that take away a lot of that manual drudgery that comes with any type of system project, right? We know there's a whole lot of things to check. We know there's a whole lot of things to test. And a lot of that we've automated, which helps reduce your risk. We know it'll be done consistently. It's fully audit enabled, and it produces audit reports for both IT and financial auditors. Also, too, we're better able to forecast the return on investment. This is very important for our customers, especially as they put together their business case for moving to the cloud. We have analytics tools which allow us to understand how you're using your system and to estimate what it's going to take to get you to the cloud before we even start the project. So we can help better put together that good story of we're going to get a good return on our investment so we can make that business case and get the funding. So next, I wanted to spend a little time going through, well, how do we do this? You know, we just said a lot of great things about all the great things we do, but how do we actually accomplish this? So if you look to the left to the right, that's kind of the life cycle of the project. And in the middle, you see there's a whole lot of steps. And in the past, a lot of these steps had to be done separately. But with our software and approach, we can combine them into a single go live, reducing cost, risk, and business fatigue. So we start out with whatever you've got on premise, whether it's ECC or S4, we can start with either. We can go all the way to ERP 4.6C, all the way to a starting point of S4. I believe our latest release for the extractor is 1809. Don't quote me on that. We always have to stay a little bit behind SAP because they change. We got to adapt, right? We can modernize, so we can do things like a platform change, which is a cloud, right? That's the move to cloud. You're changing your platform. Well, along the way, do we need to change the operating system or the database? Do we need to turn on Unicode? Do we need to make changes in our security model? All of those things can be integrated into the same project. We can consolidate systems. A lot of our customers come to us and say, we don't want to just move to the cloud because we've got an awful lot of stuff in our infrastructure, in our landscape, which is working, but it's not very efficient, or it's old, or it's a lot of baggage. So we don't want to just pick up everything we've got and dump it in the cloud. We want to be smart about it. So we can do consolidations of systems. We can allow you to change organizational structures and then convert the data to match the new org structures. We can help you simplify and standardize. And we can do repository consolidation. In other words, identifying custom development that you don't use anymore, or do we have multiple systems running the same program? Can we tell if it's the same process, right? Things of that nature. Then we can also harmonize, and by this, we kind of use the word harmonize, but it really kind of means upgrade. I want to turn on new features as part of my move to cloud. I want to turn on the new GL, asset management, etc. We can do all of these in the same project. So within the project, we have a series of little projects, but each one of them comes together in test cycles. So each time we go through multiple test cycles prior to go live, we can incorporate and enhance each time. We build what's called a scenario for your project, and that scenario we can iterate. We typically will iterate it 3 times and then do a practice cutover, what we call a mock go live, before we actually do the cutover for the go live. And each time we run that scenario, each time we do a transformation cycle, it's fully audited, fully logged, and it can be reviewed and tested and tweaked as needed as we move through each transformation cycle. So not only are we able to combine your projects, but we automate the monitoring and the auditing and the ticket generation, et cetera, so that each step along the way, the lessons learned are captured automatically. And so each next transformation cycle can be that much more efficient. And by taking this approach, as I mentioned earlier, we've been able to reduce up to 75% of the cost and timeline of delivering the move to the cloud. So I'm going to pause just a second. Do we have any questions there?
Let me check. No questions right now.
Okay. So let's talk about some other advantages. And one of the key things that we have learned is it's not about technology. Of course, technology helps. It's great to have the software. It's great to have the guided procedures, the transformation templates, etc. And those things give us the value of the standardized approach. We reduce the effort by using predefined transformation rules. We have over 800 pre-built transformation rules that allow us to move data, grouped or complete object way. It's faster. It's more precise because we're letting automation do it. And if it does it once, it's going to do it the same way every time, unless we change it, of course, as we move forward. Again, it's very efficient, up to 75% shorter project timelines. And it's very customizable. And what that means is, as I mentioned a little bit before, if you've got a large source system that you're trying to take to the cloud, and let's say, for example, you've got 10, 15, 20 years of data in this system, but you only need 2 or 3 years to run your daily operations. So we not only can bring over just the subset of 2 or 3 years to the target cloud SAP environment, but we can take the remaining years and help you move those to the cloud as well in lower cost storage. So we can put them in a data lake. We can make them available through analytics tools. We have 42 different targets we can send data to in our software collection. I've only listed the major hyperscalers here, but we can go just about anywhere with your data, and we can divide it up as needed. We're flexible. Our software does not add any constraints to when you go live. We don't have to go live on a quarter end or a month end or a year end. It's completely up to you as a business owner, as SI support, whoever makes the decision of when to go live. We're not going to say no to you. We can do it whenever you want. And then we have guaranteed minimum downtime. Our process and technology allows us to identify those opportunities to reduce your downtime. And as we'll see later in some of the customer success stories, these downtimes are very, very small compared to what you see using traditional SAP methods and what other vendors can provide. But that's great. That's all great technology and things of that nature. But we also have expert teams. We have teams that are highly trained. They know our software inside and out. They've done a bunch of cloud moves, so they know the gotchas. And we assign our teams to work directly with your teams. And your teams can include your business, your IT, your SI, whoever, because we want to become an integrated part of your team. We want to make sure that we're with you every step of the way, from the initial analysis of the source system all the way through to your go live, as well as we provide support in hypercare. And so that's one of the key things we've seen as we've moved forward through cloud migrations is we get told a lot that the reason the project was successful was because our team was so tightly integrated. We were there every step of the way. It's not like buying Microsoft Office where you install it and you're on your own. No, we come with it and we're going to help you get through it step by step. Again, we want to make it efficient. We want to make it fast. And we want to do it as in few go lives as possible to save business fatigue. And we also want to make sure we do everything we can to reduce the downtime associated with the data transformation. And this is where we talk about partnering. Okay, so we partner with numerous SIs, we partner with numerous hyperscalers, but we also partner with you as our customer. And so we don't come in and take over and run your project. Our goal is to come in and help you run your project better. So we bring in highly skilled engineers with the software who know the software inside and out to work directly with your SIs, with your business owners, with your IT, to make sure that what we put together, what we're transforming is very transparent. There's no secrets, there's no person behind the curtain, no black box. Very transparent, very open. But it's also something you can have confidence in. That's one of our key success factors is we want everyone on the team to be confident in what we're doing. That's why we go out of our way to partner with you at the person-to-person level while we deploy our technology and approach. As you can see here, Don Anderson of the Federal Reserve in Boston attributes partnership as the key success factor. Excuse me. And then also the Harvard Business Review talks about, as you move forward, our world is changing so fast that you always need next generation skills. But that doesn't mean you've got the time to build them in-house. So we provide those skills. Our people are constantly trained. They have constant upgrade of their skills in both our software as well as in the move to the cloud process. So we're always bringing to you the latest experience, the latest technology, and the latest skills with our teams.
Hey, Russell, we just got in a couple questions that are relevant to this slide. So what is the key differentiator of SNP methodology compared to SAP tools?
Oh, okay. Well, there's a couple of things. I'm glad you asked that. If I go back to this slide. So because of the way our software works, we are certified by SAP to be able to read directly from the source database and write directly to the target database. So that gives us a lot of speed advantages, but it also gives us a lot of flexibility advantages. So as we're moving from the source to the target, if there needs to be organizational structure changes, or we want to do a selective migration and only bring over part of the data, or if we're trying to merge multiple systems into one target system, since we operate at the database level, we're able to go all the way down to the field level to put filters, transformation rules, business logic, whatever's needed to get from A to B, even if B is going to be substantially different than what A looked like when we started. So that's really our sweet spot. That's what we've been doing for a very long time, is looking at the source system, applying rules to it so that your target system is as advanced as it can possibly be in a single project.
And the second question, just to reiterate, is this move to the cloud done through Crystal Bridge?
So Crystal Bridge is the banner name of our product. So it's like Microsoft Office, right? If you buy Microsoft Office, you get Excel, Access, Word, etc. You may not use all of those. And our product is built the same way. So our Crystal Bridge suite of products is the branded moniker. But within that, we have transformation specific, system analysis and assessment specific capabilities. We have capabilities around data transfer and scrambling for the non-production refreshes. We have technologies for doing splitting of data. So if you've got a very large database and you want to put part of it in the archive and part of it in the new target system, all in the same project, we've got that technology. So we have a whole suite of products under the Crystal Bridge brand name.
Great, thank you.
Any others?
Nothing for now.
Okay. All right. So as I mentioned briefly, we do have relationships with a lot of partners. We have partners that help us on the implementation side, the system implementation partners, and they work with you as a customer, and we work to support them. So again, we're part of the, I like to call it the three-part team. We've got the customer, the integrator, and us. And we support that model. In other words, this is all back to, we're not here to take over your project, right? We're here to make your project easier. It's just that simple. We're just trying to make your project better, easier, and faster. And likewise, we partner with hyperscalers. We've got built-in software for doing sizing assessment based on your target hyperscaler. So if you're going to Azure, et cetera, we can do analysis to show you what would be your bill of materials of the platform you need to order from Azure. And that's based on doing the analysis of your existing system, how your data is being used, and how much of that data you wish to move to the cloud. And so with those, we can build you specific requirements that you can hand to your hyperscaler to build out your target environment. We are also certified from many perspectives. So we're certified from a technology perspective by SAP through many layers. We're an SAP Gold partner. Our approach is SAP certified, and that approach is copying from the database source directly to the database target, alleviating the move through the application layer and all the delays and complications that come with that. But likewise, we're certified by our financial partners and other certifying organizations, because our processes, we could come and tell you our process is great, but if it doesn't pass audit, it doesn't matter how great we say they are, right? So we have been certified that our processes, our software, and our approach pass audit from an IT and a financial perspective. So you can rest assured we've done everything we can up front to alleviate the risks. Okay. Wow, the time flies. So let me get into the success stories really quick and try not to use up all of our time. So Kellogg's, I'm sure we've all heard of Kellogg's. Odds are we've all got something from Kellogg's in our pantry. But they were looking at moving to AWS, and they needed to move 1,600 users in 5 markets. They had a very strong near zero downtime requirement. And what was driving them to their move to the cloud was they had hardware that was end of life. They had multiple SAP systems in their landscape. Some of them were outdated versions, and so they were going to have to upgrade. They were also dealing with ever increasing operational costs, as a complex, outdated landscape often does, especially with the influx of mountains of data that we're seeing in our enterprise systems today. So we were able to take them from an on-prem solution to AWS in a single go live. The downtime was under 4 hours, and the entire project was less than 6 months. And so you can see the solution advantages there. No custom programming was required to do the transformation. It moved quickly, and we mitigated the risks through our automated procedures, our standard methodology, et cetera. All of those things that got us those certifications is how we mitigated the risk. We did multiple systems and multiple upgrades as part of the move. So again, we did the upgrade of the ECC, SCM, and BW as part of the same project, so that when they went live, again, it was one go live, one set of testing, one set of training, and they were live in AWS with all of their solutions upgraded. And again, we did this in less than 6 months. For Shell Corporation, they had a very large data set stored in nearline storage, and that was to support their operational analytics integrated to their SAP solution. And we were able to move 270 terabytes of data from their existing nearline storage to the SAP IQ product. We did this with zero downtime, so we were able to cut over without actually blocking out production at all. Our processes and procedures dropped 2 months off of the project, and it reduced the staff requirements on the day of migration. It only took 2 or 3 technical resources to oversee the migration. Of course, there were business resources involved, but if you think about typical migrations or typical go lives, there's usually an army of IT people involved. But because we had already tested it, we knew the transformation scenario worked. It had been fine-tuned. When it came to run it, it was what we call the boring go live. We're not quite to lights out go live, but we're getting close. They saw an improvement in their runtime, and they also decreased their maintenance costs significantly because their operational landscape was now in the cloud, and it was running on SAP standard product rather than a third-party off-the-shelf NLS. For Kohls, which is a very, very large retailer in Australia, we took over 2,500 retail outlets live. We brought 21 million customers online. We reduced their source database from 2.3 terabytes down to 900 gig. This is about what I was talking about earlier, how customers have a lot of data. They don't want to move it all to the cloud. We were able to reduce that, and we were able to do it in 5 months. So instead of going into more detail there, I want to move on because we're short on time. So Miranda, would you like to talk to them about the system scan?
Yes, thank you, Russell. That was a great overview. As I pull up Q&A, I would like to make the audience aware of this complimentary SNP System Scan offer that is made available for everyone attending the webinar today. We've helped thousands of customers dig into their SAP landscape and specific systems to create the foundation for their transformation initiatives. So don't miss out on this opportunity to speak with our experts, because we're here and we want to support you. So I'll make sure to send out the link to get you guys signed up in the thank you email after the conclusion of today's event. So let's see for Q&A. Russell, what aha moments have you seen customers make during the analysis phase of cloud move projects?
Well, there's several. So part of our Crystal Bridge analysis subset, we look at the systems, how they're being used, how the data is organized. And when we're doing that, we start to realize that there's a lot of stuff our customers have that they haven't used in a very long time. And it's hard to determine that without software, right? Otherwise, you end up doing a lot of business interviews and things of that nature. So we discover in a very programmatic, a very transparent way, what organizational unit data are we using and what aren't we? What has been our data growth year over year? And we've been able to allow our customers to identify the subset going to the cloud much more quickly and also much more fact-based rather than just, tribal knowledge of the customer's environment. So that's been very, very big for our customers as they start to see exactly what their system is doing and exactly how much data is being used for what. It really gives them a way to look at their cloud differently, look at archiving differently, look at analytics differently. So that's been one of the big ahas, is that transparency, and that's exactly what this system scan provides, is that X-ray into the system on how it's being used.
Fantastic. I know we're a couple minutes over time. I don't see any other questions coming in at this moment. Well, we flip to the last slide and thank everyone for joining today's webinar presentation. A survey will be launched once this webinar is ended, so please take 30 minutes to fill that out for us. Want to make sure that the content presented in this webinar is helpful for you. Please follow our social media handles so you can see all the live updates of events and activities that we're running in North America. And with that, I hope everyone has a great rest of your Thursday. And Russell, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, everybody, for attending.
Take care.